Good morning, it's July 23rd. It's a Friday, that means I'm walking around the lake. It's a lovely 15 degrees because we had thunderstorms last night, quite heavy ones. Hopefully washed the sap off the car. Oh, looks like maybe it did. For some reason, all the trees have been dropping sap like crazy on the car. Nice and cool this morning, so I'm going to take advantage of that before it warms up later, but it shouldn't be as hot as it has been. It just feels much fresher after the rain last night. Still stuck with just the mic on the phone. I don't have my lapel mic. They're sending me a new one, they say. Hopefully it doesn't have the same problem where it quits charging. So I apologize for the sound. If it's not good. It's not very windy, so we shouldn't get a lot of wind noise, which is kind of the biggest problem with just using the microphone on the cell phone. Beautiful clear day today. We also lost power last night for about, 3 hours or something like that. Very annoying. I got my final birthday present yesterday, which we talked about, which was a new television. Ours was showing signs of age and turning itself off unexpectedly in the middle of things. Our old plasma TV, so now we got one of these new-fangled skinny LED types. And we were watching the first thing on it last night, and the power went out, so that was very annoying. And the weirdest thing was we've been working our way through MASH, all 11 seasons. We're into season 7, I think. And just started season 7. And watching that on the 4K TV with the signal upgraded by the computer software. And it looks almost alarmingly sharp. Has a very different feel. What I don't understand about it is that it was certainly never broadcast on a modern TV with these, theatrical kind of proportions. And yet it doesn't feel like anything's been cut off. I don't understand that. I guess something must be tops of heads and stuff, I guess, but it's not noticeable, so it's kind of cool. I don't know if we can go through the underpass here or not. They've been painting murals in it. We'll find out in a minute. Nothing to report on the writing editing front. Still working on editing stories for Shapers of Worlds Volume 2, the anthology featuring second-year guests of my Aurora award-winning podcast, The World Shapers, worldshapers.com, science fiction fantasy. Barrington Mews, where Wally Knight lives in the Shards of Excalibur series, my Shards of Excalibur series. And still, it's blocked off still. And still revising The Tangled Stars, my next book for DAW, coming out next year, if I ever finish it. I will. That was a joke. In case anybody from the publisher is listening, any probably from Tall Books, it will be finished soon. Have to wait. Cars coming along the Albert Street Bridge here. Until this thing decides to give me a walk light. Could be a while. think I'll walk counterclockwise again, just because I can. And maybe we'll start alternating after this one. I don't know how it decides that how long I have to wait here. Sometimes it changes pretty quick, and sometimes you're here for a long, long time. I will jaywalk if given the chance, but right now it's not safe. It might be after this third car along here, if it doesn't change anyway. I think I can risk it. And it still didn't change. Oh, it just did, just as I got across, so. Speaker's Corner. I want to go this way because I'm going counterclockwise. Might have flooded down there last night, as much rain as we had, I don't know. More people going counterclockwise than last week when I did this, but it seemed like everybody was still going clockwise. There's the lake. Pelican out there in the middle of the lake. See if we see any under the dam here. Yeah, there's some down there on the other side, right where I took pictures of them yesterday when I walked over the bridge. It's very bright. Looking that direction. I may or may not see any comments on the screen here for a while, especially walking towards the east. And of course, that's the legislative building ahead of us. Lots of geese everywhere, always. Forget my shoe, always, it seems like. I'm gonna get over here, we'll walk up through the gardens again, as I usually do. I may not go into Pine Island today when I get over there. Morning, Roger. Can't make out what you said, but I can recognize your name. Good morning. It's funny. I saw those guys, had a bunch of old guys sitting around. I think I'm probably the same age as some of them. Might be a bit younger. Oh. doing here? That's quite annoying. We're sort of right in front of where I wanted to go to get into the grounds here. Well, I guess we won't go in there. Let's see. I managed to effectively shut it off. It's too wet to walk through the grass, so I'll walk this way. Maybe I'll take a side trip up here from this direction, go up the steps of the legislature and show off the gardens from up there. Squirrel. Besides, I haven't really walked on this piece of sidewalk, so that makes it new. Gives nice views of the ledge through the trees. But I'll take a little hike to the right. I'm not gonna, maybe won't go into Pine Island today, just to vary things. So I'll take a side trip here instead. Once I reach the road in front of the ledge. I would cut through there, but I suspect it's a little muddy in spots after last night's rain. Take the sidewalk up here. Won't walk through the garden, but we'll go up on the steps of the ledge and take a look at the whole thing from up there. I think is what I'll do. A couple of birds going after that crow there. They've got sidewalks blocked off everywhere. Well, there's a big hole there. That would be a good reason. Now, the one weird thing the sound was doing yesterday was it would sound quite good, and then it would suddenly go thin. I think it was something to do with the phone or its algorithm trying to adjust to ambient sound, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, hello, Theodore. There's the ledge. Best side to see it from today with the sun in the east. Saskatchewan Legislative Building. We're going to go up the steps today and take a look at the gardens from up the top of the steps. That's the plan. We also have nice gardens right here. So if you're an MLA reporting to work, in fact, at least one step here, I ran into an MLA on the steps here. What it would look like. Cornerstone. And then if you're up here, you're looking back down over the formal gardens and the statue of the Queen, and it lines up directly with the aeration fountain there across the lake. So that, I can just now see it. No longer in Cyprus. Moved to Cork, Ireland. Ah, Faith in Bogota. I've done an Irish accent in a play. I was told it wasn't too bad. On the other hand, the director was Hungarian, so I'm not sure what he knew. That was at Persephone Theatre in Saskatchewan. I did Who Has Seen the Wind, which is a classic Saskatchewan novel by W.O. Mitchell, and then turned into a play. And I played two parts. There's two brothers. There's the father of the boy, who's kind of the main character. Then there's his Uncle Sean. His Uncle Sean is from Ireland. So Uncle Sean had an Irish accent, which I had no help with at all, because as I said, the director was Hungarian, had a thick Hungarian accent. Tibor Ferragazi. And, but after the show went up, at some point, somebody from Ireland told me I sounded Irish, which, you know, was good. He said, I just didn't sound like I came from the part of Ireland I said I came from, and I figured as long as I hit the country, I was doing okay. I had that comment from another play I was in, Most Happy Fella, where the character was Italian. I'm the most happy fella in the whole Napa Valley. So I did my Italian accent and was told by somebody, Italian, that I sounded Italian. I just didn't sound like I came from the part of Italy I said I came from in the play. And again, I thought, if I hit the country at all, I would take it. I did an Austrian accent once, or a German accent, but it was supposed to be fake. Like the character was faking it, so the fact that mine was also fake didn't matter whether it was particularly good or not. So this up here is the Trafalgar Fountain, which used to stand in Trafalgar Square in London. Came here in 1939. Probably during the visit of, or in association with the visit of King George, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, as we knew her later. It's nice to see it running. Coming in the sun here. And don't trip on the wet pavement. You know, Trafalgar Fountain. The only actual Italian line I remember from No Savvy Fella, he said something, says, I stupidly non No, how did that go? Se sei stupidi non cavare di fare troppo il furbone. I think that's how it went. Which is translated as, if you're a big, clumsy plow horse, don't jump around like a circus pony. But I never looked up to see how closely the don't know how closely that translation actually would have scanned. Is it muddier than I hoped? I sung Italian, doing opera, as you'd expect. Fondatore della mia sorte, queste scuse, signorina. Fondatore della mia sorte, queste scuse, signorina. Thank you very much. Hi, Miriam. Walking around the lake again, but counterclockwise. Because they took down the stupid signs that said you could only walk one way, which, is anybody watching these know, I thought was the stupidest so-called health restriction ever. Around here anyway. I'm sure there's stupider ones elsewhere. That's the monument to the Ukrainian Holocaust, the Stalin starving of Ukrainians and the greater communist good. A lot of Ukrainians in this part of the world. Frog in my throat.
Hey, I know you. I'm Julie's husband.
Oh, hi.
How are things going?
Good. Just doing my...
My wife said you're keeping very busy.
I am.
Take care.
You too. People recognize me sometimes.
And apparently there's one customer. Yeah.
Because of all the writing and stuff. I get that sometimes. And I used to have a TV show locally. People still remember me from that. It was years ago now, but they still remember that. It was a phone-in computer show called Net Talk. And I was the host, but the actual answering of stuff mostly went with my co-hosts, who were typically from some computer store somewhere. So someone would ask a question, I'd say, "That's a very interesting question, Bob," and then Bob would actually answer the question. That's kind of the way that worked. Well, that looks too much like exercise. I prefer walking. Actually, I did jog last fall, as I mentioned. Not last fall. Oh, yeah, fall. Yeah, I was jogging last fall. But I would jog 3 or 4 days, then my knees would be hurting. Oh, more joggers. These just happen to be geese. teenage geese now. Almost grown-up geese, some of them. My knees would start complaining and then I wouldn't be able to do anything for a few days. So walking seems to have been a much better choice. Plus there's no way I could have live streamed jogs. I wouldn't have been able to talk. I suppose I could have carried the camera, but I wouldn't have been able to talk. Not for long anyway. Here comes a car. Golf cart. And the lake is always over there, of course. See how wet everything is. It was really heavy rain there for a while last night during the storms. There was one big one and then another smaller one came through. A lot of lightning. Must be some sort of summer camp, all these kids running through the park. All seem to be in the '12, '13 age. I would guess. Or 12, I would think. Quite busy this morning, everybody taking advantage of the cool air. Kids were running, they gave up. They passed me again in a few minutes. They decided to run again, which they probably will. They're probably supposed to be running around the lake. Speaking of which, there it is. They seem to have stopped at the parking lot up here. And gathered there.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Pine Island over there. Yeah, now they're running again. Some sort of camp. Could be a sports camp of some kind. Oh, maybe I will walk on the Pine Island. I like going under the waterfall. Geese everywhere. They wanted to get away from me, but with the railings on the bridge, there was nowhere to go, so herding geese. They have a lot to say. There's the legislative building again, downtown, straight ahead of us. A bit behind the trees. Tall building straight ahead is City Hall. Somebody's been feeding them. Little buffet there. Here's the waterfall. Also for aeration purposes. Keeps oxygen in the water for the fish. What's that? Might get a little wet this time. There we go. Slippery when wet. It is very slippery, so you can't go through there very fast. But you want to go through fast because there's lots of water spraying onto the... So I got my feet and ankles got sprinkled. Okay, Pine Island. I wasn't going to come on here today, but I changed my mind. The one thing about the mic, the lapel mic not working, is that you get more ambient sound. So I'm sure you can hear the geese better than you would have with the lapel mic. I don't know how I sound. It's not very windy today, so hopefully there's not a lot of wind noise. I took off the little cotton ball I put on yesterday, thinking that might have something to do with the weird fading in and out of the sound. So, yes, it's me again, guys, coming through. Geese are great talkers. I don't know what they have to say, but they say it all the time. Honk, 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 honk. More of them on the land than on the water today for some reason. And a couple of pigeons in here too. Looking, well, they're probably here because somebody was feeding them. That's probably what this was. Yeah, there's clearly some food down there they're all looking for and fighting over. Somebody fed them, I think. They hiss like cats if you get too close. And they hiss at each other too. I saw a grown-up hissing at a teenager, if you like, adolescent one there. Here's those old guys again. I'm gonna have to pass when I get up there. Pick up the pace. No more side trips. Just follow the yellow brick road. Yellow striped road, although the stripe needs repainting. There should be a yellow stripe down the middle of this, but there's not at the moment. Can't read the screen at the moment because the sun's in my eyes. That way, you can end up in Hillsdale. Well, no, actually, go that way, you end up at the university eventually. Hillsdale's over there, where I walked. Over that way, I walked earlier in the week. There's the Hart Street Bridge, and the footbridge will be going over in a minute. Another view of the lake. On the sunny side now.
In the States, if you spend $25 on ankle boots, you get a free ticket to the movie. I'm assuming it's just
It's a popular parking lot here for the marina. A lot of people park here and then walk around the lake. There's also, as we'll see in a minute, boat launches over there we'll walk by. This is technically, you can launch a boat from here as well. You don't see boats on the lake quite as often as you might think you'd see boats on the lake. I'm sometimes surprised there aren't people out there more than there are. What we'll see up here are dragon boats. There's a dragon boat race, or has been, every year. So local companies put together a team, train, and race and raise money for good causes. I'm not sure. Probably the causes change every year. See, they all have decals on the side from sponsors. I don't know what the status is of that. It's usually in September, so there's at least a good possibility it'll happen this year. This is the Bar Willow Eatery. Has the best deck in town. There's also Lake Taco there, which is a little takeout window. So this great deck here. Some of it's under the tents and some of it's not. Has smaller umbrellas, and you get a great view of the lake here when you're eating. You see the boys out there, that's for rowing, marking lanes. See the sign, Canada Games, they held those here right after the lake was deepened. In whatever year that was, 2004 maybe, or 3, I don't remember. You can rent canoes and things, I think. And this is the Racing Canoe Club here. Probably getting a little wind noise now since I'm walking into the breeze. There's not a lot of it, but I'm sure on the camera mic it's probably picking up as wind. Again, I have a new lapel mic coming. The one I've only had it for a couple of months and it quit charging. So they said they would send me a new one, and I didn't even have to send the old one back, which is very trusting, but makes me think the actual cost of producing it must be minuscule compared to what it costs to buy it. So they can afford to do that. So they're probably overcharging to begin with. But I'll give it one more try. If I get a new one and in a couple of months it quits charging, then I'll give it up as a bad bet and see about getting a different brand. So we're heading over here to the other aeration fountain. One of 4. 2 fountains, 1 waterfall, and what would you call it? An outlet, a spout. See again the boys there for canoe racing. Here's the fountain in its little lagoon. Little footbridge. There we go. Always refreshing to see. In this direction is the east end of the legislative building. And we were just walking over there. There's the bridge over there, and we'll be walking over there momentarily. Downtown, straight ahead of us, kind of still blocked by the trees there. It's a scenic lookout there as well. It's a lovely day. That rain was badly needed. Now, the whole province needs it. There's drought conditions many places. And of course with thunderstorms, just because we got heavy rain last night doesn't mean some places wouldn't have gotten a drop. But hopefully it was fairly general relief for a lot of farmers. Hopefully there was no hail in it. Probably means a new crop of mosquitoes here shortly, because it was heavy enough to leave puddles. And standing water is what mosquitoes really love for breeding purposes. And we're coming up on Willow Island over here, which is where they launch fireworks from when we have fireworks. There's the Albert Street Bridge over there. HMCS Queen. The naval cadets hang out. It's essentially a landlocked ship. So it has the name of a ship, HMCS. Her Majesty's capital ship, I guess. That stands for Queen. Or Her Majesty's Canadian ship. Oh, that's what it would be. Her Majesty's Canadian ship, Queen. So it even has a mast with yard arms on it. It's always a song stuck in my head, and today it's that little bit of opera I sang earlier. On the torre della mia sorte, queste scuse, signorina. On the torre della mia sorte, queste scuse, signorina. That's the only part I can remember accurately of the words. And it's from Marriage of Figaro, I think. Figaro, 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 Figaro. Have I sung that? Might have. Can't remember. I was in a production of Marriage of Figaro, but I had a non-singing part. There's a servant whom I played. Got a lot of laughs, so playing that role, so that was fun. Opera Saskatchewan many, many years ago now. I'm sure it's after I went freelance. I don't think I was at the Science Center, so sometime in the 90s, I guess. Opera Saskatchewan doesn't exist anymore. Morning. Going to Willow Island, there's a boat launch down there that you go to. You can rent Willow Island for picnicking. Is that from Kirk? I'm a bit out of focus. Well, I don't know what's going on with that either. The camera focuses automatically. Yeah, I have no idea what that's all about. I wonder if I've just got something on the lens. Here, I can try to get it off a bit. See if that helps. Looks fine on the screen, so I never do anything different, but sometimes something different happens on the other end, so I don't know. Same with the sound yesterday, it was doing weird things and I didn't do anything. It's just the camera making those decisions. In the home stretch now. I could shoot in 4K, but the processing time on YouTube would be very long. And it wouldn't make any difference to the streaming. It's the college building over there, that tower. It streams at 720. YouTube might stream higher, but Facebook's limited to 720. Is that how it works? They're building the new pool over there. And we come back to the lake shore. And there's the other aeration fountain, which, as you recall, lines up directly from the front steps of the legislature past the Queen statue in the ornamental gardens. Then you see this in the lake directly opposite that. Although if I was out of focus, maybe you could see it at all, I don't know. Bridge, of course, nice and white and lit up, all Canadian flags on it right now. And if I'm out of focus this time, well, hopefully it won't be next Friday when I'll do this again, but probably in the other direction, just because I've done it twice now, counterclockwise. I'm willing to go back to clockwise and then maybe alternate after that. So, brand new swimming pool going up there. There was one there. They tore it out and now they're building a brand new one, much nicer one. Water slide and all that stuff. Much better, huh? I must have just had something on the lens. Oh well. Sorry about that if it was fuzzy before that. I should clean the lens every time before I go out. So now we're looking straight back up at the end of the edge where we were before. Thing is, I put it in my pocket, of course, all the time, and so it's easy to get a fingerprint or something on it, not be aware of it. Make a note, clean the lens before every walk. Of course, I also intended to start using the Map My Walk app before every walk. I've done it once and forgotten every other time, so not promising much. So I have to go to the crosswalk anyway. Let's walk up a different path here. We'll walk through Speaker's Corner here. Named after the one in Hyde Park in London, and it has a couple of lanterns that once stood in Hyde Park. Not used by speakers though. It'd be the place to come if you wanted to make a statement and you expected to get in trouble for it. Because the irony of being arrested for saying something unpopular while standing in Speaker's Corner, one would hope, would make people think. Here's the lanterns that are actually from Hyde Park in London. One on either side here. Don't fall down the steps. To the crosswalk, leaving the park behind. There's a police car. There goes a police car. He probably didn't think I had a radar gun. I'm not sure about other people when they see this thing. So again, we didn't go through the tunnel under the bridge because it's being painted with murals. It has several already and more to come, so it's going to be very nice. And hopefully we'll stop the constant plague of graffiti under there. A couple more blocks and this walk will be history. I'd walk down there, but as you can see, dead end, no thoroughfare. Doesn't look like it, that's why they put that sign up. It looks like if you went down there, you'd be able to get out, but you can't. It just goes to people's garages in the back. Take Angus Boulevard to the alley and then on to Angus Crescent. We won't walk around Angus Street. As I said before, Mr. Angus certainly got himself remembered. 3 different pieces of street. Angus Street is the longest. Angus Boulevard is literally just this block. And then Angus Crescent is just our crescent. But Angus Street goes many blocks north and south on both sides of the river. There's a cheery color on that house, blue with the yellow door. I like this one. It has a very period look with the awning. Our house used to have awnings on it. There's pictures of it. They're long gone. Of course, when you didn't have air conditioning, the awnings help keep the sun out and keep the house cool in the summertime. But the awning came down long before we put in air conditioning, so I've only seen it in pictures. Pictures that are old enough that, you know, the the spruce that are now 6 stories tall in front of our house, 5 stories tall, were about my height. Because the house has been in the family since 1939, my wife's family. And it was built in 26, so it's coming up on its 100th birthday. We'll have to celebrate that somehow in 5 years. It's sobering to think it was only a little over 30 years old when I was born. There's Davin School ahead of us, now called the Crescent School, but I'm always going to call it Davin School. And almost home. Alrighty, I'll stop there. So thanks for walking with me, even if I was slightly out of focus, perhaps. And even though the sound's not as great, maybe, but it was a lovely walk around the lake with the nice weather. So I enjoyed it. Hope you did too. I'll see you tomorrow.